Sara Dyson is the founder of Expat in Croatia, the top English language guide to Croatian bureaucracy and assimilation into the Croatian community. What started as a passionate side project, Sara grew Expat in Croatia from a blog to a full-service business with an extraordinary team of 10. 11, I think, maybe.
Yes.
Okay. I read it in interview. Despite a lack of Croatian heritage, Sara is happily and obsessively dedicated to helping others love Croatia and giving back to the Croatian community that welcomed her with open arms. Sara was born and raised in Texas. In her life before Croatia, she earned a degree in photojournalism and political science, became a user experience project manager, and found her pre-Croatia calling as a pastry chef. Sara has called Split home for the last 10 years and will continue to do so far the rest of her days. Welcome, Sara. My next guest is Dr. Cathy Gorn. She is an executive director of National History Day, the leading program for history education in schools. Cathy joined the organization in 1982 when it was still in its infancy, leading it as director since 1995, taking it from a series of student history contests to a comprehensive international academic program reaching 600,000 students and 20,000 teachers every year. In 2012, Cathy accepted the President's Medal for the Humanities from President Obama in recognition of progress impact on history and civics education. She has edited 45 curriculum guides, directed 35 national history institutes, and served still on several boards, including the White House Historical Association. Born of Croatian parents, Cathy grew up singing, dancing, and playing in the prim in a folklore ensemble, and is a lifelong member of the Croatian Fraternal Union. Cathy also takes groups to Croatia to introduce the country's history and culture to Americans. Welcome, Cathy. And the last but not the least, Drina Petrina. She is the founder and CEO of Croatian-inspired athleisure clothing brand in Canada called CROwear. It is an e-commerce shop with hundreds of customers all around the world. She has built a strong, loyal following on Instagram and is continuing to build the community and brand. Drina is the first generation Croatian, born and raised in Canada. She started her clothing line 3 years ago. She is very proud of her heritage and wanted to create Croatian-inspired looks that were comfortable yet flattering for women to wear at the major football tournaments. Items that were very unique and different. They're all original designs she designed herself. In addition to being here to participate in the conference, Drina is looking to secure a production or maybe manufacturing partnership in Croatia. She would love to support Croatian businesses. Much of Drina's success came from her mindset and personal development journey. She has recently become a certified coach in business and in mindset and business for entrepreneurs who want to get the next level in their business. She works with Hina Khan worldwide, out of Toronto, Canada, in Canada, and has a passion for helping entrepreneurs globally to achieve their dreams. Welcome, Drina. And happy Women's International Day to my guests. So let's start with from the beginning. Sara, can you tell me more about your story? Maybe you can share with us what did you do before you started your business, and then what exactly inspired you to start your business? Of course, what is your mission with your...
Okay. There's a lot to unpack there. I'll try to. So, before I came to Croatia, I was a user experience project manager. I understood web development, and I was also better, super. Okay, when I came to Croatia, within a few months, I realized that there were no resources in English for people who wanted to live in Croatia. There were even few resources just for people who wanted to travel to Croatia. So I decided to, with my web knowledge, to put up this blog to educate people on procedures. One of our first posts was how to get employed, for example. Very important, hard-hitting topic. And over time, I just kept adding and adding and adding to it, and it was something that I just did in my spare time. My day job was web development for small businesses with a user experience approach, so I kind of always looked at things like how is this going to be as easy as possible for the other person, and I think that really helped me with developing Expat and Croatia resources, because I look at what I would want and how can I make this as easy as possible for people to understand. So that's why we study the government so hard and then find a way to boil it down so that anyone without any knowledge of Croatian can understand it. And then it wasn't until 5 years into that, 5-6 years into that, when I got to a point with my residents where, look, the police, they said I needed to have a Croatian salary. And that is what pushed me to actually turn it into a business. Because I had to open a company. If I was going to open a company, I wanted to do something that I loved. And I really love talking about Croatia all day. I'm a giant geek for it. So I looked at what I was already doing just as this passion project and thought, can I actually make this a business? I'm going to give it a try, and hopefully it works out. And it did, which I'm very grateful for. And in terms of what our mission is, it's very simple. It's how do we help people and also give back to the Croatian community at the same time. So everything that we try and do, we try and follow those 2 points. And if we do, then we're doing exactly what we should be doing.
Okay, thank you. Sara is also Croatian Woman of Influence Award winner for 2023. So now you can see why. Okay, Cathy, can you share with us your story?
Yes, hvala, dobar dan. Ja govorim hrvatski samo malo, sada ja moram na engleskom. I'm not the founder of my organization, National History Day, but I joined very early when it had limited impact and limited reach. And when I saw what it could do for young people and teachers in elementary schools and secondary schools in terms of teaching history, I knew I had found my cause. And I have been with the program, the organization, for 40 years because it never gets old. And it never gets old because when you see the light bulb go on in a young person's head, that's just so profound, and to feel like I have a little bit to do with that is pretty amazing. So I am still here, and it's taken a lot to grow the organization from what was very small to a multi-billion-dollar international program. But in recognizing that if we have to get to students and improve what they do and what they learn, we have to train teachers. So I decided we needed to broaden our audience. And the bottom line for our mission is to improve the teaching and learning of history in schools so that we can develop good citizens for the future, citizens who understand historical perspective when looking at current topics. And studies have shown that students, young people who study the past in an effective way, not memorizing names and dates, that's not what this is. This is doing real research, so going out and getting into archives and museums and truly conducting research and thinking critically about that material. Those types of students are more likely to participate in their communities, they're more likely to vote, they're more likely to be active, and very importantly, when young people study the past effectively, it helps them build empathy, and the world needs so much more of that now.
Thank you. Cathy is also Croatian Woman of Influence Award for 2023, so congratulations once again. And Drina, share with us your story.
Of course. First of all, I'm so happy to be here on International Women's Day. I'm excited to meet you all. So I was born and raised in Canada. My parents are Croatian, so we really grew up with Croatian culture and everything like that. So anybody watch the World Cup? World Cup and Euro Cup was something that I always grew up with. We would watch all the games with our friends and family, and I found it difficult to find things to wear to these celebrations. So my mom's a seamstress, so I would ask her to make some things, maybe wear the jersey. Some of the other items were not as flattering, or the quality wasn't high up there. So I decided to create my own clothing line. And I started off with the leggings, the navy blue leggings with the checkered red and white checkers on the sides. And it blew up, everyone loved it, and I started that 3 years ago. And it's just been incredible seeing all the amazing feedback from my customers, and I'm just really looking forward to growing it bigger.
Thank you, Drina. So regarding today's International Women's Day, what do you think is it more challenging today for women to start their own business and succeed in compared with men? And what is your experience, Sara?
Well, I think there are going to be challenges at any stage. And any generation is going to have its own set of challenges. You know, there's a generation of women that didn't have access to education. That was a challenge. I think the challenges that women have today, growing up, is they have social media, which tears down their self-esteem and their self-worth. And that is something that they have to then get over. Like, women who are just coming of age during the pandemic, I mean, that's going to have a significant impact. From my perspective, how I grew up, I have a brother, and we were raised completely differently. So he was raised to be kind of on this more professional track, and I wasn't. And I'd say that I could have used that as an excuse to not do anything, but I'm very stubborn. And I don't like to swim with the pack. I'm more of an upstream kind of gal. So I use that as a reason to push myself farther, become more independent, and go my own way. So I used it to my advantage. So as far as do they have more challenges today versus other times? We all have our own challenges. It's just a matter of how we approach it, but also the support we have. You know, I had relatives, extended family, and friends who always were there for me and pushed me and believed in what I was trying to achieve. And there are women out there who don't even have those kinds of communities around them. And they still manage to pull themselves out of that and go farther and achieve. And it's obvious of all the things that are possible with all the incredible women in this room who have done such amazing things. I love events like this because it really pulls us out of the woodwork and into the spotlight to show us what is possible if we just, give it a try. Go for it.
What I would like to say is what you focus your energy on growth. So we can focus our energy on, challenges, like obstacles, and say we can't do anything, or we can focus our energy and our focus on ourselves and develop our skills, our mind, and So I think, the same as you. Thank you, Sara. Katie, what is your experience?
Well, I come from a very strong Croatian mother who did not have the opportunity to go to college, but she insisted that her daughters would go, and of course she wanted me to be a doctor or a lawyer, but I call myself doctor because I have a doctorate, but in history it's not quite what she expected, but not so bad. And I think that the situation for women in the United States is better than it was, but we're seeing some backlash right now. And I think that in my field, especially in the world of nonprofit business, 73% of employees in nonprofits in the United States are women, but in the size of my organization, only 45% are in leadership positions. And in larger nonprofits, only 21% of women are in leadership positions. So we have a long way to go yet. But I have seen definitely some movement, and I think that most important what women in leadership can do for other women is to extend a hand and bring them forward and push them further ahead. I had someone early on who kind of got her power by being one of the few women among men. So she didn't want women to succeed her, because I think in her mind that would mean that she wasn't the best woman for the job. So I think what we have to do is the exact opposite. Was when I see a young woman behind me, some of my employees, I just want to take them and I just want to push them ahead of me. And I think we need more women to do that. So.
Yeah, then you could share your experience with us too.
I totally agree with everything Cathy and Sara have said. For me, so in Canada, my industry is social media and fashion, so I actually see so many amazing examples of women leading the space, owning successful 6-7-figure businesses. So I really looked up to them for inspiration, and I joined a lot of different groups, so coaching programs, entrepreneurial spaces, and they were predominantly women. So 90% of these groups and mentorships were actually women. So I see so many amazing examples of women doing amazing things, and it's just really important to support each other and cheer each other on, and ask for help and help other people. And I'm just seeing so many great, transitions and improvements in the space for women in running their own businesses.
Thank you. Can you describe me some specific key moments from starting your business? Maybe you can share with us some hard or challenging times. What was the most exhausting while developing your business, Sara?
Most exhausting right now.
The rockers.
Well, no, it's just our organization has grown so exponentially in the last 18 months, and there's constantly events and meetings and coffees and all these things that are going on, and it's really hard to keep up. So right now is very, very exhausting, but exhilarating.
So it's time.
Lack of humans. It takes so much manpower, womanpower,
HR.
to do what we do. The amount of work it takes to research, to contact the government, to speak to them, to fact find, to constantly write new resources, update resources, maintain those, and we have a very personal approach to our customer relations, to our audience. There's a lot of things that we could automate, but we choose not to, because just because you can talk to a robot doesn't mean you want to talk to a robot. So I think right now the challenge we're going through is, okay, how do we do what we do better? How do we refine what we do? And also find ways that we can be more efficient at what we do while not sacrificing who we are and our dedication to humans and that kind of relationship that we have with our audience, which is very strong. In terms of a key moment, when I read this question from you, the first thing that popped into mind is when I opened the business. So I mentioned that I want to say forced into it. I could have made the choice to leave Croatia, but that was like an over my dead body situation. But it wasn't just, okay, I'm taking this leap to open the business. There was this other dimension to it. So I had really terrible social anxiety my entire life. And the first 5 years that I wrote the blog, I did it anonymously. I didn't have my name anywhere. If someone contacted and asked a question, then they would find out, but I never put it out there. I was too scared of having a spotlight on me. I didn't even like having my picture taken. As recent as 2 years, still kind of don't like it, but at least I'm more on board with it. So when I opened the business, I was like, okay, I'm going to take this seriously. I need to figure out what to do, and I bought a marketing course. I went through it the whole way, and there was this key question that changed everything, really, and it said, talk to friends, people you trust that already follow what you do, and ask them what you could do better. And I did that. I asked about 6, 7 people, and they all said the exact same thing. Sara, you have to be the face of this. You can't be anonymous anymore. And I was like, really? And that took a lot for me to get on board with, because I was so scared. My friends actually referred to it like this. That's what I used to be like. But I knew that if I wanted this to be successful, I was going to do whatever I could to make it a success. So it took baby steps to do that. I did Dilber Yutra. That was my first kind of video that I did, which 18 minutes of live television is kind of really throwing you into the deep end. And I blacked out during it. It was a miracle that I even got through it. I mean, you wouldn't know from watching it, but I was horrified. It was so frightening, but I knew that this was important. And every single time I get confronted with a speech or a panel or something like that, it's not up to me anymore. I've got 10 people and an audience and clients and partners who are all, rooting for me, but also kind of dependent on what it is we're building here. So that was the biggest challenge for me. It's a challenge for me every day. It's a challenge sitting here and being in front of a room full of people looking at me. But I'm really grateful that I had this opportunity to build this business, because it has helped with my personal development. Something that I thought of when you're speaking, Drina, about the courses. An advantage that women have today is there are so many free resources that they can get online to educate themselves. Something I've been doing is I've been watching YouTube videos about how to learn how to interact with others, about how to be more charismatic, and that has helped me. That's something that when I was a teenager, when I was in college, that didn't exist. So it's, even at 40 years old, I'm still trying to better myself constantly so I can be better at my job, but it's making me a better person at the same time.
In this fact, you will grow, everybody will grow if we are going out of our comfort zone. So this is also going out of my comfort zone for me too, because I have never lead a panel in English or Croatian. Thank you for this. Okay. So, thank you, Sara. Drina, let's go with you. So, the same question, some specific moment from your starting your business, and if you can focus on some hard and challenging times.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, as you know, if you own a business, there's lots of ups and downs. And it's about how you handle the downs and not just the ups. So if I can kind of paraphrase here. So one of the key moments from starting my business was just getting started. So just ordering my first sample of leggings, getting it, and I was just so excited. I love the quality, I love the look of it. I'm like, okay, this is amazing. I need to put this out there. And just taking that step to launch the website, the Instagram and everything like that. So that was such a key moment where I knew I had something that was really special and that people would love. Challenging times. I actually launched my business a few months before COVID. So I actually launched it strategically for the Euro Cup tournament that was happening. And unfortunately, things didn't turn out the way I expected, and things got rearranged, and the tournament obviously got rescheduled to the following year. So I kind of had to really pull up my socks and just pivot my marketing strategy a little bit. So it was clothing that you could wear at home, you could wear to the gym and things like that, and a lot of people loved it anyway. So I realized that there's never a perfect time to start a business, that you just have to launch it, and there isn't a perfect time. Because I thought I was launching it at a perfect time, but there was a different plan. It turned out better than I expected, because the following year I had so many clients, I had new products, and it's just about taking the good out of every situation. And then obviously there are low sales months. So there's really big sales months, there's low sales months, and what I did during that time was just learning. So just investing in myself, learning more about marketing, investing in mentorship to really help me get to the next level, and keeping a positive mindset and really becoming very persistent. And yeah, that's kind of.
Thank you, Drina. Katie, some challenging times for you, I suppose it would be like pandemic times.
Oh, the pandemic. Very much so.
And of course, share with us some key moments.
Yes. During the pandemic times, well, one of the big events that we hold is always in June at the University of Maryland. We have 3,000 students, middle and high school, and 700 teachers and all parents, 10,000 people total. And the pandemic hit right in the middle of preparing for that. And most of the other national student competitions canceled, but we pivoted quickly to virtual instead of just canceling. And we basically had to make it up as we were going along, but we did it, and that was really tremendous. But one of my biggest obstacles or difficulties, challenges, is fundraising, because I run a nonprofit organization, an NGO. I don't sell things and then make a profit. I have to ask for money from foundations and individuals, and that's very difficult, especially for history education. Science and math, lots of people want to donate to that, but not so much for history. But as I try to sell it, it's about democracy. And so that's been a very big challenge. But like Sara, I'm naturally very shy, and yet I'm the face of the organization. And so early on in my career, to try to overcome that, and I highly recommend it, is I took acting classes.
Really?
Yes, so I act as the executive director.